July 1st, 2014. Check out the energy coming off the left side of the sun, guys. These are Earth-facing SDO images. Now, if you wanted to pause that, you're probably going to get a dozen explosions from that group that has not quite made it around to the surface of the sun. Now, at the top, those sunspots are relatively small compared to the ones in the southern hemisphere that are coming around, and I'll show you that. But notice the energy traveling in the top left between the small flares, between the smaller sunspots. That's touching the top of a filament. Now notice how small they are in the top compared to the two coming around in the bottom. Check that out. There's a lot of energy. It'll fool you by just looking at the sunspots. But 2104 has went beta gamma delta. That means it's now a 5% chance of X flares. 2107 is beta gamma. Both are dangerous. Now, we can't take our eyes off of 2106 and 2102 because you see the energy transferring between those. Now, these are also Earth-facing, but this is a different satellite. This is SOHO LASCO C2 images. And you can tell the activity's picking back up here. Check this out. Goes into the 30th. There this morning. Let me back this up. See that? I'm going to come all the way back slowly. So dealing with events on the 30th, you can count about 24 hours, and any effects that will be coming towards Earth as far as plasma density increase or solar wind speed will start happening around the 2nd. But those sunspots appear to be quite dangerous. Check this out. They're already, the intensity and the frequency has increased, and now the height and amplitude on the charts has increased. You're starting to see it pick back up just like it did before when these same sunspots were on the Earth-facing side of the sun. Now, just a few moments after the video last night, this went to tropical depression. We thought it may because it was getting into that hot spot. You're looking at images from late yesterday afternoon through the night and then into this morning as the sun rises again. You can see it's becoming more developed. NOAA has put out the tropical storm force wind speed probability chart. This goes out 5 days. You can notice the timestamp at the top there, guys. July 1st, Tuesday today, through Sunday, July the 6th. The center, and I'll show you where just the concentrated hurricane force winds will be in this green cone right there. Notice North Carolina, guys, the Outer Banks are going to get smacked. That's on one line. You know how the spaghetti models can vary and change. And I'll show you also the time stamps on this movement. You don't have much time. Notice 2 a.m. Friday. That's not the time to be having to evacuate at 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 a.m. Thursday where it's at. But by Friday at 2 a.m. they're saying it will be hurricane. Now notice where the eye is just off the coast. You know how far inland that can go and what kind of floods you're going to be dealing with. That tells you need to be out by Thursday. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go to bed there Thursday night. You don't want to be there anywhere in this area if you can help it. We don't know the strength of the storm yet, but they are saying, and listen, at the top, the cone contains a probable path of the storm center, but does not show the size of the storm. Hazardous conditions can occur outside of that cone. New York, 2 a.m. Saturday morning, guys. Remember Hurricane Sandy? And we got weather coming across the Great Lakes. Check that out to the left of this cone. You could kind of set up for a perfect storm situation there. But again, the H's are hurricane in this black line. The S's are storms. You can see where we're at. Again, it looks like it's going to be trouble through the 4th of July on the East Coast. You may not see that many fireworks in D.C. Check this out. This is visible satellite imaging up until the time I was doing this video. You can see again on the surface, strong rotation, and it's starting to pull in now these storms as it moves into this warmer water. You can also tell how rapidly this morning it's developing as the sun's getting on it. And then your engine is that hot water below that. It's been extremely hot, guys. When it was not raining, if you remember, in the last few days, that sun would scorch you. It was unusually hot, and it would heat even your clothes very fast. That's the amount of energy coming from the sun. that's generating this. So it's unpredictable. It's as unpredictable as all the tornadoes and heavy winds and hail and flooding that we've seen so far this year. Everything's been records. So let's not take your eyes off the storm on the East Coast. Again, I'm going to check this evening for the newest tracking. I'll do that again, and we'll see if the spaghetti models change inward or outward as far as East Coast goes, and how far into Florida this thing may come. We don't know yet. But let me pull this up. You see your storms coming off the west coast of Mexico. Now, it's got a northwest movement, and it's a shame that some of that moisture could not get up into California and Arizona, into the drought areas there. That would be a perfect scenario. We'll just have to wait on and see on that, but they're predicted to keep moving out to sea. Notice coming into the Bay of Campeche. Also, we watched that last night. And south of there, coming off the equator, you've got more and more energy being pulled in as it heats up. We're into July. We're a month into hurricane season. It's time to really start paying attention. This is a heads up. We'll update it later this afternoon. Be safe.